one, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. He did not quit. Detroit Lions. He did
Nice
not
job.
quit.
Nice job.
Off to throw again, does, middle, J-Mo, angling to the end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions. J-Mo flips into the end zone for 6. J-Mo flips into the end zone for 6.
Nice job. You talking about gut punch up the middle, then talking about tossing it on the edge, and once you get him out on the edge, Sonic is gone. Once you get him out on the edge,
Inside the 20, inside the 10, inside the 5, touchdown, Detroit Lions, 44 yards. Jameer Gibbs putting together a day.
Hat trick.
Gibbs putting together
Nice
a day.
Hat trick.
Nice job.
There's your victory formation. Kyle Allen will take the snap, take a knee, and that'll do it. Two teams will meet out in the middle of the field to say job well done, job better done on this day by your Detroit Lions. As for just the second time since 1939 they have come on the road and beaten Washington, they do it today by a score of 44-22. Big bounce back for this football team, coming off an effort they were not happy with.
Nice job. Nice job.
Throwing middle, caught inside the 5. Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. 14 yards on the strike. Goff to Gibbs. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
Nice job.
Jared takes the snap back, looking, throwing middle. Got Amon-Ra inside the 2, to the 1, to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Amon-Ra, St. Brown. Amon-Ra, St. Brown.
Nice job. Nice job.
Mariota's got it back. Pressure comes. He's hit. Slips out of it. Rolling to his right. Now he's going down. Brian Branch got him. Sack for the Lions. Brian Branch got him. Sack for the Lions. Snap taken by Mariota. Wants to throw it. Going to get hit. Going to get sacked. Take it down. Brian Branch got him second time today. Take it down. Brian Branch got him second time today.
Nice job.
Hands it to Gibbs, running right, runs through a tackle, gets down to the 10, Gibbs through the 5, still fighting down to the 2, down to the 1, to the end zone! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! He did not quit! Detroit Lions! He did
Nice
not
job.
quit!
Nice job.
If you guys can hear me, I'm sorry about the loop. Will is do this.
Off to throw again, does, middle, J-Mo, angling to the end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions! J-Mo flips into the end zone for 6. J-Mo flips into the end zone
Nice
for
job.
6.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again!
Hey, there we go. Rock on. So, hey, this morning, I'm your host, Eric Rintamaki. Will's going to be with us in just a couple of minutes. He's busy. He's got something going on. So I'm going to take over this morning, and I'm going to start out by saying hello to everyone in our amazing chat. And we're going to start up at the beginning this morning always in first this morning. It's Trace, as always. And then we have Maureen, BJ Sarge Monker. Okay, that's a new one. Brandy Coffee, Maureen. Let me see here. We had a whole bunch of names I haven't seen in a while or in a long time. So Lions fan since the 50s. That's a pretty cool one. Todd Beaudry. I know Mr. Van Larhoven was in here. Nick P's in here today. Gino's in. Harpup is in. We got a whole bunch of people in this morning, and hopefully you guys got to see the amazing game that went on last night for Thursday Night Football. They finally had a game that was not a clunker for once, and it did not go so well for my bet that I made on the game last night. I did a 6 or 7 way parlay, and all I needed was for Josh Allen to throw less than 250 yards yesterday, and he threw for 253 yards. And then I needed the Bills to win the game, and they lost 23-19. So I unfortunately did not turn my $1 into $20. So last night, the Buffalo Bills were defeated by the Houston Texans 23-19. And Josh Allen went 24 for 34 for 253 yards with 2 interceptions, 0 touchdowns, and 8, count them, yes, 8 sacks for negative 70 yards yesterday. I have not seen a defensive output on sacks like that, I think, ever. I don't know if that's the most yardage that a quarterback has lost for 8 sacks in the NFL, but that's got to be right up there. It's got to be pretty darn close. So everybody's wondering where the wonky names are coming from on YouTube. Well, YouTube every once in a while they implement and they put all these numbers on the end of everyone's username. So Grandma Trace puts, YouTube is now implementing the handles now, so you'll see your handle from now on instead of your screen name. So let us know your screen name if you would, please. So that's pretty cool. Somebody said commercials are killing them. Well, I have no control from my end on commercials, and we don't have enough people in right now to get commercials turned off anyway. So if we get enough people to hit the like button in the first half hour, we usually take the ads off, but we don't have enough in there today. So Lions and Giants coming up. So I prepared this little thing today about the Lions and the Giants for this game. So I'm going to call this something new, and it's going to be Eric's 5 for Fridays. All right. And I thought this is a really good idea. I'm going to come up with 5 reasons every Friday or every Wednesday for the next 2 weeks why I think the Detroit Lions could win the game. And then I'm going to come up with 5 reasons I think the Lions might let one slip away. So let's get into my first one. All right. These are the 5 reasons that the Lions, well, we'll start with why the Lions will lose. Okay. So I'm going to start on the down trend. We're going to start off with 5 reasons the Lions could lose this game. All right. Number 1, the Lions' offensive line injuries. The Lions' greatest strength is suddenly a weakness. Both starting tackles, Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker, have missed practice this week, but both should be able to play. And if they are out or limited, the Giants' pass rush, led by Brian Burns, who has 13 sacks, could wreck the game before Goff even has time to throw, just like in the Eagles game. And that is every Lions fan's worst nightmare, is that Jared Goff is going to have a game like he had last year. But just like I told you guys in the beginning when I was talking about the Bills and the Texans games, Josh Allen had a clunker last night. After he had the MVP, 3 touchdowns passing and 3 touchdowns running the week before, he comes out and has a clunker, and he is a very mobile quarterback, right? Well, Goff is our pocket passer, and he had a clunker last week. So look for him to come back and have a much better game this week. All right, number 2, Jaxson Dart's legs. if the rookie quarterback clears concussion protocol, or whether he doesn't, he presents a problem that the Lions have struggled with at times until this year: mobile quarterbacks. And Dart has rushed for 317 yards and 7 touchdowns this season. That's pretty darn good. And his ability to break the pocket and create off-schedule plays can neutralize the Lions' aggressive pass rush and extend drives, unless Kelvin Shepherd can do the spy and the contained defense and keep Jaxson Dart where he needs to be. And I'm going to say the same thing for their other quarterback, Winston. If Jameis Winston is in, I think it's going to be the same thing. You have to spy him because he can hurt you with his legs. He did it against the Packers on that first drive, and then they finally started to keep him kind of contained. And that Packer game was a lot closer than people want to admit. That was a 7-point game, and they had a chance to come back at the end of that game and tie it up and take it to overtime. So we can't take the Giants lightly this weekend. Okay, number 3 in my reasons why the Lions could possibly lose this game: the interim coach effect. The Giants just fired head coach Brian Daboll, and they promoted Mike Kafka to interim head coach. And teams historically play with a spike of energy and freedom in the games following a firing of a head coach. And the Lions could be walking into a trap game against a team playing with absolutely nothing to lose. What if they come out and they don't punt a single time? They don't care if they're on their own 1-yard line and it's 4th and 17. They go for it every single time because they have nothing to lose no matter what. I mean, it'd be kind of dumb for them to do it, but what if they do? That kind of stuff could happen. And number 4, the Lions' secondary health. Detroit's secondary is banged up. And we're going to have to lean on the Legion of Whom once again. Starting cornerback Terrion Arnold, still in the concussion protocol. He did not practice today, or as far as I know today, but he did not practice yesterday or Wednesday. So he is in concussion protocol. I don't think there's any way, unless he practices today, that he can play this weekend. And then Kirby Joseph has been out since the Kansas City game. And I heard a rumor this morning that he posted a video of him running yesterday, but I did not see anything. And he has not practiced. He has not practiced in weeks and weeks and weeks. So even if he was on the side working with a trainer, that's all that is. Dan Campbell said he was getting better, but didn't see him playing in this game this weekend. So I don't think we're going to have Kirby Joseph. And, with them both being on the injury report as not practicing all week, I just don't see how it's going to happen. And if Detroit is missing those key starters in the back end, the Giants rookie sensation Jaxson Dart could have a field day. Even though he doesn't have the best wide receivers in the world, he could have himself a little field day. But Legion of Whom, they've stepped up time and time again. They did it against the last 3 or 4 opponents we've had. No one has scored more than 24 points against the Lions with the Legion of Whom. So they should be able to get it done again this weekend. And then number 5, my 5th reason why the Lions could lose this game: momentum in the run game. Surprisingly, the New York Giants have rushed for 142 yards last week. And that was against a solid Packers defense that we couldn't do squat against in week 1. If they can replicate that success on the ground with Tracy, and they can shorten the game, keep Jared Goff on the sideline, and drag the Lions into a low-scoring, ugly contest where an upset is possible, that could turn bad for the Lions. So we can't let them get their run game going. We do have a pretty decent run defense this year. We have a Lee McNeil back and all our big boys in the middle. So with our linebackers, we should not have that bad of a day, even if they get their run game going a little bit. All right. Now we're going to go to 5 reasons why they could win. Okay. These are my 5 reasons why the Detroit Lions will win this weekend. Are you guys ready for this? The Lions, let's get back up to the top. All right. They have a rushing mismatch. So this is the single biggest statistical advantage in the game. According to Fox Sports, the Giants possess the 30th ranked rush defense, allowing a staggering 149.9, so 150 yards on the ground per game. And Detroit's Sonic and Knuckles, the duo of Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, should be able to run at will, controlling the clock and keeping the Giants' offense off the field. And I truly believe that Dan Campbell learned a lesson last week against Philly. He is going to use David Montgomery to set up Jahmyr Gibbs. So instead of Gibbs coming out right away and pound it, try to hit that home run with Jahmyr Gibbs right from the beginning, I think he's going to try to use David Montgomery kind of in that soften up the defense role like they did in previous seasons. Nice to see you back there, Will. Everything all right?
I'm working on it.
You want me to keep going?
You just finish your thought. Yeah, go for it.
All right. So number 2, elite defense versus anemic offense. The Lions defense is playing at a top 10 level across the board. Every category, they are top 10. Fox rankings have the Detroit Lions as the number 5 defense, giving up 291.8 yards per game, and the number 8 passing defense, aka the Legion of Whom, is giving up 192.1 yards per game. They're facing a Giants team that is 2-9 and has struggled to sustain drives all season. The talent gap on this side of the ball is massive. Number 3, the home dome advantage. Jared Goff. He is a different quarterback indoors at home. The passing attack averages nearly a full yard more per attempt at home compared to on the road. Returning to the comforts of Ford Field in a blackout after the cold and miserable game in Philadelphia is a perfect get-right scenario for the Lions passing game. The Lions have won 13 consecutive games coming off of a loss, dating back to week 9 of 2022. And bonus, also, a win on Sunday would tie the NFL record of 15 straight wins after a loss. So the Lions just don't lose 2 in a row. So that's another reason I think the Lions are going to win this weekend. Number 4, scoring disparity. The Giants' defense is porous, ranking 29th in scoring defense, allowing 27.3 points per game. Conversely, the Lions' defense ranks 10th in scoring defense at 21.6 points per game. In a game where the Lions are expected to score 30-plus points, the Giants simply do not have the firepower to keep up in a shootout. And then number 5, playoff desperation. This is why the Lions, I think, are going to absolutely crush the Giants this weekend. The Lions are 6-4. They're currently on the playoff bubble. They're sitting 8th in the NFC. They cannot afford to lose to a 2-9 team. This is a must-win mentality combined with the anger from last week's embarrassment. It was bad. Usually brings out the best in Dan Campbell's team. Now, last week, we went from first place in the division to third place in the division. And with a little help from our friends, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Minnesota Vikings, who owe us one, if those 2 teams can win this weekend and the Detroit Lions can win this weekend, well, guess what? The Detroit Lions will go back from third back to first. And that's how I see things happening this weekend. Welcome back, Will.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got catch any of that, but what do you think?
I mean, I was able to catch bits and pieces. Yeah, no, it all sounded good, man. All good points. Like I said, I didn't get a chance last night to really look at the sheet or do a whole lot, but
yeah, I did a little something different this week.
Sounded like
I came up with something called 5 for Friday. Okay. because I was watching your show last night and you were trying to come up with some ideas. And I thought 5 for Fridays or 5 for Friday. I thought that was pretty good way to think of things because we have our 5 bold takes on Friday.
Yeah.
And then I can come up with 5 reasons why we're going to win, 5 reasons why we're going to lose, or we could lose, and then have our 5 bold takes. So I did all that last night thinking 5 for Friday, and we have the number 5 defense, the number 5 offense. I thought, man,
What a perfect
it's
time
just
to use
fives
it.
all around.
Yeah.
So maybe I should, you know what that means? That means I'm going to wear my David Montgomery jersey on Sunday.
Got to wear number
That's what
5
that
this
means.
weekend.
Yep.
Well, I guess sticking with everything that you've been talking about, I know that we've been gone long enough this morning. Sorry about getting a late start.
That's
but
all right.
Anyway, big shout out to you. It's not easy to do that. It's not easy to jump in last minute and just to start running, a channel when you're not prepared for it, right? But you've been doing it long enough, man. So good job.
Yeah, I couldn't read a couple names in the chat, but yeah, they got some weird screen names.
I can't read, period. It seems like lately. So getting into this weekend, man, it's a game that I don't want to say it's like necessarily a trap game, but there's definitely some pieces to this Giants defense that I think we have to pay attention to. Yeah, Brian Burns is the only one getting sacks right now, but I want to put that in the context of David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay,
Yep.
you have 3 amazing athletes on the offensive side of the football that for whatever reason have all had some clunker games or even a clunker game together or separately, and they haven't really functioned together as a unit, but maybe 2 games this year. Think about that in terms of the Giants defense. You've got Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and others, Abdul Carter, that for whatever reason, they have not clicked as a unit. All it takes is for one game that it clicks. And at any point in time, they can rain hell down upon that offense by utilizing a similar defense to what the Eagles have been running. The Giants kind of run a very similar style. It's an attacking front, and they like to get their edge rushers involved in the game. They do have some holes, right? They have some holes in the secondary. So do we. They have some holes in the linebacker room. Not really as bad, but they do. I guess where I'm going with this is I would never discredit a defense that is not playing well to the numbers, and just leaving the numbers out there to kind of hang us to dry would I think would be a critical mistake, because I do think that if they do come alive this weekend, it's a tough defense, and it could totally limit what we are able to do if they get hot, if they did see something on tape last week that the Eagles saw, right? We'll see if that comes true. I can't say that I necessarily saw anything. I've gone back to look at a few of Jared Goff's games. I do see the short sidearm throws, the lower angle at times, but who doesn't? Who doesn't have that, right? Who doesn't utilize that? It depends on the throwing angle, I think. And I think Johnny Morton or maybe Dan Campbell, not calling the right protections or not utilizing the right protections and not giving Jared Goff enough time back there and maybe not a deep enough drop, which I forget who I was listening to last night for a minute, but they talked about that exact same thing, not with Jared Goff, but as a whole. If you don't put your quarterback into the right drop, that can create a whole host of problems. And so maybe that's what we've been seeing, is you're not telling Jared, hey, look, this is a 5. You have to get to 5. This is a 7. You have to get to 7, and this is why. This part of the offensive line is going to collapse a little bit, or, you're expecting more rush from this side of the defense. So if you don't get to 7, then you're trying to get that ball over here, and you've got all of that pressure in your face, and you only get to 5. Well, now your arm angle's different, right? And the throwing angle's different. So I think some of that stuff kind of comes into play here, where maybe having a new offensive coordinator, trying to run a different style of an offense, it seemed like this season, an offensive line that has not been cohesive, but maybe a couple of games this year, they're not clicking on all cylinders. And I think that's where you start to see some of these mistakes, and then they get over-glorified when you go up against a good team. I would be more worried about things, speaking of the season as a whole, if we were losing against bad teams, right? And we're not losing against bad teams. We've gone and beat some really good teams, and we've beat up some really bad teams, and we've lost to some really good teams. And maybe they're not the best of themselves when we play them and we've lost, or maybe they have some holes in their offensive defense just like we do and we've lost. But that doesn't mean that they weren't a good football team. And then that's where I'm going to end this little sermon here is I do believe that the Giants have enough to win this weekend. I'm not saying they're going to, because I think we're going to take care of, their offense with our defense. But defensively, unless we're throwing the ball downfield and we're able to open up the run game to get the ball downfield, they have a defensive front that can be an absolute nightmare this weekend, given the fact that our offensive line is their biggest concern. I don't care where you look on the field. The offensive line is the biggest concern. I said it before the deadline. I said it probably in week 9. I said it when Taylor Decker went down in week 1, that was going to be our biggest problem this year was our offensive line, and hopefully Brad Holmes does something about it, but it's a little bit too late, in the season. So unless we get some players released from other teams, which there's been some players released, but not a really good left tackle or a really good guard, this is it. Now, on the flip side, and I want to get your thoughts on this too. On the flip side of that, let's think for a moment here. Our offense has not performed to its highest ability. The Chicago Bears game was about as clean as you can get. That was a really clean game. That is who our offense is when they're clicking. Amon-Ra St. Brown has not really done a whole lot this year. Still a good receiver, obviously still one of the best, but he's not clicked with Jared Goff. And that's not an issue between them as much as I think is what defenses are trying to take away. And they are taking away St. Brown. They are doubling. They are shading. Doing the same thing with Jameson Williams to a lesser degree. He just needs to get open. But think about that we have not performed to our highest level yet. And we still have 7 games to go. We're getting some defenders back. This offense can do it. They're all healthy for the most part, except for the offensive line. We could easily go on a run here and start playing our best football into January, where we're playing at a very high level and the confidence gets back. Right now, I think we have a confidence issue. Once that confidence gets back, all the way. And I'm going to want to marry that up with your take on the power rankings that you noticed from somebody. So give me your ideas and thoughts on that, and then roll right into that power rankings thought.
Okay. Well, listen, the Detroit Lions, they just have not put it together totally on offense yet this year. Something seemed just a little off. And I think the thing that was a little off was Johnny Morton. I think that's what was holding Jared Goff and the guys back. It was a wet blanket on them. And now they're free to do what they want to do and need to do on every single play. And I think that Philadelphia just had a defensive line that was just too overwhelming for our injured and depleted offensive line. That's all that was. I don't think that the offense wasn't clicking. I don't think that people weren't getting open. I mean, J-Mo got open for a 40-yard touchdown. So it was there. Our offensive line just, they had a bad day. That unit had a bad day. That's all I put that on, really, is injury, and they just had one. They put up a clunker, and so kind of did Jared Goff, getting all those balls batted down. 5 batted balls. But listen, I think in the confines of Ford Field, these guys are actually going to put it together, and we're going to have one of our best offensive outputs, if not our best offensive output this weekend at Ford Field. So yesterday, I like to watch YouTube videos, and Paul Farrington was a guest on our show just like a week or two ago for the Viking game. And I really like Paul's takes. So I've gotten into trying to watch his show as much as I can, because I like to see what fans of other teams like to talk about with the Detroit Lions versus their teams, especially with they have a Packer fan, and I like their little zig and zag segment that they have, and Paul Farrington's take, because he's a Vikings fan. So they have a couple Vikings fan and a Packer fan on the show. And I started watching their top 10 show yesterday, and they start at number 10, and I'm like, all right, where are these guys going to put the Lions at?
Number 10 power rankings, right?
Yeah, so they did their top 10 power rankings, and what they do is they each take a turn and they do a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they started at number 10, and they had the Baltimore Ravens. And I was like, oh wow, they're putting the Ravens in the top 10. They barely won last week. I'm like, okay.
I could see that though.
Yeah, but I could see it. They're coming along. I was like, oh, that's kind of a spicy one to put at number 10. Because I'm thinking, the Lions are going to be right there about 10 or so. And then number 9 is the San Francisco 49ers. I'm like, all right, I can see that. And then number 8 is the Green Bay Packers. And I'm thinking, that might be kind of a little high for me, for if I had to do my own. And then number 7 was the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, that's kind of fair for me because they beat us. So I would put them ahead of the Lions, maybe. But they lost again last week, 2 in a row. So their season's kind of slipping away from them. They could actually be out of the playoffs in a couple games if they lose a couple more. And then at number 6, they have the New England Patriots, who are absolutely on fire in that 4th place schedule. And then at number 5, they put the Philadelphia Eagles. So I'm thinking at this time, man, Philly just beat Detroit. Kansas City beat Detroit. They're putting all these teams that beat Detroit. Green Bay beat Detroit. Detroit's not even going to be in the top 10. and that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, man, these guys, man, they're haters. They don't like the Lions.
Right.
So we get down to number 4, and they put in the Denver Broncos, who just beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. And I'm thinking, yeah, I put Denver up top 5. That's for sure. So number 5 was Philly. Number 4 was Denver. And then they do number 3, and it's the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm thinking, well, they just lost to the Rams.
Barely though, right? Barely.
Yeah, barely by 3, I think. And I'm like, So I wonder who number 2 and number 1 are, because I'm putting it together in my head. I'm trying to think of who the teams left are, and I'm like, they haven't said the Rams yet, and I know they're not going to put the Lions up here anywhere. They're not even going to be in the top 10. Are they going to put like the Steelers or somebody up here? I'm trying to figure out where they're going to put up there. So I brought up the section for their number 2 pick. And I'm going to have Will play it for you guys to see who they thought.
Oh, what am
was
I playing?
The number 2 team in the league.
Oh, I got something to play.
Yeah, there's a video there.
Oh, I'm right on top of all that.
Oh, okay. I thought you had it. That's.
I'm barely alive. Alive.
Anyway, they put Detroit at number 2 at the 23-19 mark of their show yesterday. And
I'll get it.
Unbiased. But their take for why they put the Lions at number 2 this week at number 2 after losing to Philly and having a 6-4 record, while they put teams with a 9-2 record behind us, was absolutely mind-boggling to me. Because if I had to do my own top 10 list right now,
well, if we get time, maybe we'll have to do it. But
I would probably put the Lions outside of the top 5. If I'm being honest, if I'm doing a power ranking right now, me as a Lions fan, even with my Homer glass, my Honolulu blue glasses, and my Homerism, I would probably have them, 7 or 8, somewhere in that range. And these guys have them at number 2, and they are not Detroit Lions fans. Let me tell you, these guys are Vikings fans.
I would throw this.
Packer fans.
I would throw this in there like this, though.
Yeah,
it's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't believe that the Lions are anywhere near being out of this. And as much as you want to discredit, not you personally, but others,
yes,
want to discredit what the Lions are doing, or what they haven't done, honestly, which is really play a good, solid, complete game in a while. I get it. You're gonna throw them under the bus, and it makes perfect sense because it fits the narrative, it fits what's going on in the league, and it is what it is. But you allow this team to get back into it, and I'm telling you, wait till we start playing our best ball. And once we start playing our best ball, it's over.
But when do you want to play your best ball?
Later.
In November
Right.
and December.
Well,
that is when you want to
December,
get
January.
clicking.
December, January, really. I would say November's a little bit early. You want to be clicking right now, but if you start humming in December, and you've kept yourself alive, which we're alive, then I think you can absolutely hit November's ground running, ready to rock and roll. Here we go. I'm gonna play this. I'll have to reach out to Paul to make sure I got permission later. But I'll play this. I didn't do my best. I didn't even see that you had a video up.
That's all right. That's all right.
I'm just hanging on by a thread today, man.
But yeah, November is usually where teams separate. This is the part of the season where the good teams go this way and the bad teams go this way.
Shoot.
Yeah, there's chapters on there too, and it goes right to it.
I think I'm on it. Make sure it's unmuted.
Lions are going to go.
Wow. Okay.
And it was between the Lions are going to go.
Hold on.
Host the Rams. If Sam Darnold has a similar kind of meltdown, then I'll really get concerned. But as is, I'm with Jack. I'm more willing to dismiss this as a one-time game.
Who we got at 2, Ziggy?
Number 2 is really difficult because these are two teams that in my power rankings were almost exactly tied. One has a noticeably better offense. One has a noticeably better defense. One's coming off a win. One's coming off a loss. At number 2, though, I'm putting the team that my numbers say is better. This is where the Detroit Lions are going to go.
Wow. Okay.
And it was between the Lions and the Bills. I think those are the only two teams you can justify putting here. And I will admit, the Bills are coming off a much better week. If your view is we should only really care about what's happened the past 2 weeks, the Bills should be ahead of the Lions. But the Bills have beaten marginally better teams, right? They beat the Chiefs, whereas the Lions lost. They've both beaten the Buccaneers. But the Bills have also had some absolutely incomprehensible losses, right? They got murdered on the road in Atlanta. They got murdered on the road in Miami. The Lions have not had similar losses. And while the Eagles game was no doubt bad, I'm more confident in the complete roster the Lions have, even if I'm more confident in Josh Allen versus Jared Goff's. We're assessing the whole team here. Even though these teams are very close, I think the Lions should be ahead of the Bills.
Well, talk about bad losses. The Dolphins are a great team, especially go on the road. Like that's not a bad line.
I'll say the Lions do have that one loss against the Vikings that is difficult to understand, but I will take that over getting murked on the road by Miami and Atlanta.
I think we all agree the Lions are and Bills are both probably somewhere between like 5 and 8 on the list here. As opposed,
I don't. I've got the Lions at 3 and the Bills at 4.
Okay, all right. Except Ziggy. So Ziggy's happy.
I mean, that's like also. I mean, it's reasonable.
No, it's understandable.
It's
Buffalo
reasonable.
truly is just Josh Allen. Like it's Josh Allen.
I've said that for a while.
If you took Josh Allen off the Bills right now, they would be horrible.
They might be the worst roster in the NFL.
Yes, it's so when you say okay, the Bills shouldn't. I mean, if you had put the Bills at 2, you just you think Josh Allen's the best player in the world, and
he very well may be.
And he very well might be. The Lions at 2. I think we all agree their ceiling certainly can rise to the level of 2. That interior offensive line right now is a problem, and you've seen them exposed 2 of the last 3 weeks against the Vikings and the Eagles. If their offense isn't humming, it's not the same Lions team. I mean, they're just a different team than they were last year when they can absolutely pound you. No, pause, but they can just absolutely pound you. and you couldn't do anything about it.
You like that?
So if they can't do that on offense, and their defense is going to be this injured again, which it should be okay for the playoffs, you're hoping, but it's just they've been hurt for 2 years now. It's just not the same Lions team.
Well, we'll get to find out. They play the Packers Thanksgiving. They go to LA to play the Rams December 14th. They've got some huge games coming up. Hey, they host the Steelers December 21st. Could be a game that decides some playoff spots.
Be careful with the Steelers.
I will believe in the Lions' talent. I will believe in the Lions' coaching over Josh Allen versus the world. Because if Josh Allen takes one game off, you lose 30-13 to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I think the Colts probably should. So I'm going to put the Rams at 1, which makes our list
Not
now.
the Bills. Leave the Bills.
Great take. Obviously, I love what they do over there. Paul Farrington, Ziggy, I forget the third fella's name, but they do a wonderful job. And
they talked about that too in that episode.
What's that?
They're like, when they go places, everybody knows Paul and everybody knows Ziggy, but they don't remember the third.
I can never
name.
remember his name.
I think it's Jake.
Might be. But yeah, they do an excellent job over there, and I love the setup. See,
you need to get him a big name tag.
At one point, it was like I was hoping to have 3-4 guys on this show with one guy in the background doing all the graphics and handling all the switching. And if I could just get rid of that, things would be so much better here. If I could just get rid of all of the management, because it's hard to do, man. It's hard to write scripts, write shows, bring up topics, watch 50 podcasts, make all the graphics, run all the day-to-day. It's tough. And then you're sick on top of it. It doesn't make it any easier. So I love what they do.
But I wanted to give a big shout out to the Paul Farrington show. I thought that was amazing what they did. They give honest takes. Some of them said, hey, I had him at 3 or I had him at 4. Oh, I had him at 8. They're giving honest takes on what they think the Lions can do. And they see the potential. They know that it's a top 5 offense. It's a top 5 defense. No other team in the NFL right now has a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense.
So let me pivot for just a moment.
Yep.
You talked about last night's game briefly up front, right?
Yep, I sure did.
Did you talk about Davis Mills?
No, I didn't.
Okay. I posted on Twitter last night. Probably didn't go anywhere because my channel or my handle is apparently shadow banned. I posted on Twitter last night, Davis Mills better be a Detroit Lion next year. He is one hell of a backup. Let's see, Bills.
What position does he play?
Quarterback.
Oh, Davis Mills. Yeah. For the Texans. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. He played last night, watching him play, the way he controlled that offense, the way that he controlled the entire game, honestly. He played extremely well. They ended up winning the game last night, 23-19. He goes 16-30, not the greatest of stats, but no sacks.
And they only asked him to throw it 30 times.
Yep, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions on the night. Josh Allen was a RAS last night, 8 sacks. But when I go back and watch this game, though, like Davis was making plays. He's not just throwing the ball. He was making plays. There's a difference. There's a difference with taking the snap and throwing the ball and just throwing the pass and just doing your job versus making a play. He was finding the open receivers. He was making critical throws. He was getting into the critical downs and making it happen. He was escaping the pocket when he needed to. Davis Mills, where has he been and why is he not in Detroit? Because that kid can play. That kid, is a backup. That kid can play. 6'4", 225. He's 27 years old, comes out of Stanford. He was drafted in 2021, so he was a little bit older when he came in through the draft. I think he was 23, 24. He's a round 3 pick, right? And he's a hell of a backup quarterback. You put him into our system, this kid will thrive. I say kid, but he's 27 years old. Davis Mills better be one of the first calls to, and I don't know what his contract is, but I would right now, Brad Holmes, I would have already sent a 6th or 7th round pick to the Texans for this guy, or even a 5th round pick. That is a guy I want on this team. And it's not based on one game. Last night, obviously, he had a good game. But you look at what he's done this season so far. He's been in 5 games. 62% completion percentage over his lifetime, but 58% on the season. And he's got 5 TDs to 1 interception, which tells you he's making good decisions. He's taken 8 sacks. It's kind of high, but you got to blame some of the offensive line for that too. He's had experience in every year. Played 13 games in 21, 15 games in 22, and then at least 4 games in each of the last 3 seasons. So he has plenty of experience. I don't know what his contract is.
You know what he's done the last 3 weeks?
Win.
He's won 3 games in a row.
And so this is a player that I would love to have. Oh, he's on a 1-year extension, $7 million. Yes, please.
Yep.
2 years, $20 million. Bring him in right now. That is a player you pay through the nose for, because if you ever go down with Jared Goff, you are in trouble. Lions at number 2, according to Paul Farrington's show. Just about everybody else, especially ESPN, they have the Lions at number 8. They dropped 6 spots, going from 2 to 8 this week. And what ESPN mentioned is that Morton was stripped of his play calling duties after the Week 9 loss to the Vikings, and he might have to fight to secure a long-term role with the Lions in 2024. Detroit led the NFL with 33.2 points per game under the former offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, and Morton was given the tall order of following the current Bears coach. Morton has said he's fully supportive of the Campbell's decision and would be ready if he's needed to call plays again, but things not initially working in that area could be costly for his future, according to Eric Woodyard. I don't know why they just said all that and they didn't say anything about the Lions, period. They talked about John Morton as opposed to what's going on with the Lions and the power rankings and why they're at number 8 and where they should be. The Rams at number 1, according to NFL.com. The Lions are also at number 8. Lions coming up short in some of their biggest matchups this season. Yeah, we have been. And there's a lot of reasons why, but we can't play with excuses, right? Outside of Ford Field, we are not playing well. And that was a strength last year, right? We didn't lose. We didn't lose the game on the road. We expected at least this year to go undefeated at home. That didn't happen, very quickly into this season. I forgot who our first loss was at home.
Vikings.
Oh, it was the Vikings. That was our first loss. Yeah. We're in 3rd place in a tough division right now. We're out of the playoff race currently. That won't last long. It'll change each week. I don't think that there's any shame in losing to the Eagles, just like NFL.com says. How we lost, I don't think made it any worse. Again, I forget who I was listening to last night, but he had said specifically on the Goff throw to St. Brown over the middle where it looked like he missed him by 5 yards. He said that is not a quarterback issue. He said that was a culmination, paraphrasing here, of weather being an issue because they don't miss that play ever. Jared Goff has never been that far off of throwing a football to St. Brown over the middle where he was actually open.
Mm-hmm.
That was weather. And it wasn't the stupid gloves. It was weather. We had 25-mile-an-hour winds gusting, swirling. Nobody could throw a football in that game, at least accurately. A lot of those balls were wobbly for both players, for Jalen Hurts and for Jared Goff. So the weather was a significant issue. The defense gave this offense plenty of opportunities to win, and I think that's what's going to happen again this weekend. Let me get into a couple of things for the Lions and Giants breakdown. We'll get into 5 bold takes towards the end of the show here. We'll be right back in 17 seconds, just a quick timeout, and then we're going to get rolling to our next segment.
Pressured by Hutchinson, he goes down again.
Okay, Lions offense versus the Giants defense is where I'm going to go. Again, Eric, I don't know what all you really spoke about this morning, but if I repeat some things,
that's fine.
It is what it is. So I think that we need to attack the weak defense that the Giants have, especially on the ground game. They're allowing 149.9 rush yards per game. They're ranked 30th. Jahmyr Gibbs obviously should be a feature in this game, but I'm not shy of putting David Montgomery into a lead role in this game either. Matter of fact, I'd like to see him get a little bit more of an even shakeout in this game. I don't think that you need to go ahead and press the gas with Jahmyr Gibbs all game. Get him a little bit more involved in some of that pass game outside the ends. Utilize again. Brian Birds is going to be coming. Get over top. Right? Get over top of him. Exploit that secondary. They have a lot of secondary lapses in the Giants' backfield, or secondary, excuse me. They surrender 225 pass yards per game, which is 22nd worst in the league. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams can absolutely stretch this team vertically. And the red zone efficiency for the Lions really needs to step up. We've had a few key areas that are big for the Lions, or have been big for the Lions the last few seasons. Our third down efficiency is probably one of the worst areas of this team. Matter of fact, it probably is the worst area of this team. And that is something that they have to fix. Between red zone efficiency and third down efficiency, both of those two things need some work. Now, the Lions do rank 5th in TD rate in the red zone, but the Giants are dead last. So this is something that we should be able to capitalize on every time we get into the red zone. Third down, though, in the red zone seems to be a problem. And third down anywhere else on the field seems to be a problem. Last week was probably an anomaly because the week before, when Dan Campbell took over, not only did we score in every possession, but the final kneel down, but our third down efficiency was great. And we think we only got into 5 third downs that game, if memory serves me right. I think it was 5.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Washington game?
No.
Yeah.
Not the Eagles, the Washington game, yes. I think it was only 5 third downs. Maybe it was 9. But either way, we capitalized on all of them just about. We have to limit turnovers. And that's another thing that has limited us. We have not been getting turnovers. We needed absolutely 1 turnover last week. Just 1. And I said that in my keys to the game, that we have to get a turnover to beat the Eagles. And we didn't get a turnover, and we didn't beat the Eagles. Had we got that turnover, that game probably flips. We just needed 1 more chance to get that ball downfield. So in this game, we can absolutely limit the Giants. We've struggled with risky play calling. We need to protect the ball, obviously avoiding, giving the Giants short fields and, giving them the ball back. That's the one thing that worries me the most is not getting takeaways and then giving the ball away. Thankfully, we haven't been giving the ball away either. But in a game like this, where Jaxson Dart can absolutely, if he's playing, can absolutely make some plays with his legs and his arm, you can't give them the ball back. You can't. Tempo control. You have to keep the pressure on the Giants, especially on their defense. You have to pace them, right? You have to get into play action. You have to force them into fatigue. And then you have to get them into coverage busts. And the best way to do that is stay on the field and don't enter a huddle. Stay out of the huddle. Call 3-4 plays in a row, whatever it is. Call 2-3 plays in a row. If you see the defense that you want on the field, you're probably going to get the same defense for the first 2 downs of the game. So then why go to a huddle? Don't go to a huddle. Get the call in and just go tempo. And get this team in a rhythm. Go up, pass, I don't care. Pass, run, pass, whatever it is. Go up there and get in a rhythm. And set the stage right away. Whenever the Lions have done that, it usually bodes them well. The Lions defense versus the Giants this weekend, yeah, it should be a smothering effect on the Giants. We should be able to take care of them. The Lions defense is top 5 right now. And while the Giants offense is middling and missing some key playmakers, they can still be dangerous. We have to stop the run and stop the run early. The Giants have averaged 125 yards per game, 10th in the league right now. Detroit is allowing just under 100 at 99.7, which is top 8 in the league. Winning this battle forces the Giants into passing, and that is where we can force pressure onto the quarterback, whether that's Jaxson Dart or Jameis Winston. And the Giants quarterbacks have been turnover prone. This is absolutely a game that I'm expecting. Well, Terry Arnold's probably not going to play, but Amik Robertson, Thomas Harper, somebody is going to end up with an interception this weekend. We have to be able to dictate the game and dictate it fast. Bracket, hold on. 1 sec. Forgot to look something up on the injury report. We're not going to need to bracket. Okay. With Neighbors out, obviously it forces the coverage onto Wan'Dale Robinson and Isaiah Hodgins. I keep saying Hodgins. I don't know if we really need to bracket them as much as maybe we would have had Neighbors been in the game. I think we can go man on man here. Hodgins has played extremely well with his limited action, and Wan'Dale Robinson can be a threat. But I think that if we go man up on these guys into some coverage zone too, I think that we'll be just fine. Third down dominance is key for the Lions here. The Lions are third best on third down. Defense, 34.4% efficiency rate allowed. The Giants are 12th offensively at 40.5%. So given the fact that they're missing their star running back and they've, without Malik Neighbors, they're still able to push the ball downfield and they are efficient on third down. Better than the Lions. They've doubled up the Lions. Generate takeaways, like I said, is the most important thing here. The Detroit Lions have been average in turnovers this season, 13th, but against a shaky Giants offense, extra possessions will seal the win. I don't know if it's going to be needed, but it'll definitely seal the win. Last season, I warned y'all, and I said that Kirby Joseph just had the best season he's ever going to have in his career. And what the Lions did from a takeaway perspective is extremely rare. Even though we weren't the best in the league, we were damn near the best in the league. It is extremely difficult to get 10-plus takeaways for any individual in a season, and he did it. And that's exactly why I warned everyone. I said next season, it's probably not going to look that way. But if Kirby was in the game, it might have, because he was three interceptions in 5 games or whatever it was, and then he's been out since week 6. So he was kind of putting himself back into that position, and I think the Lions defense has played a little bit differently, actually a lot differently, without Kirby in there. We played in a little bit more zone, a little bit more contained matchup, or contained principles that kind of dictates your matchups a little bit more and how aggressive you can be at getting after the ball. What do I think the Giants are going to do and what do I think the Lions are going to do, I'll talk about next. But Eric, based on those 10 key points that I've kind of laid out for the Lions offense and defense, do you have anything else that you want to add there?
I really think this game boils down to the Lions just doing Lions things. Okay. And what do I mean by that? I think doing what they plan to do, not having to go off kilter. So when they plan to do play action, they need to do play action. When they want to do a pass, do a pass. Goff get up to the line and not have to switch it so much. And I really think this game boils down to just being able to do what the play is, not some off script thing. I really think this boils down to the Lions just
need to play our game.
To get back to being the Lions again from last year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, obviously we're a new team this year and we've got new philosophies and new players and new scheme.
But it just seems like
hasn't been the same.
Last year we were in control from the beginning to end of games.
Yeah.
And we need to get back into that again. That's what I was trying to say, is that if the Lions can control this game early, I think there's no problem this weekend.
Well, I think that's the key to it, man. You have to lean into your strengths. And that is something that I feel Calvin Shepard does a really good job at. And we need to see that from Dan Campbell. I don't want to see Dan Campbell be as aggressive. I need to see him be reserved and calculated and making the right decisions. He is an aggressive coach, but there's a difference, I think, with being aggressive and having someone else tame that aggression with their play calls versus you are aggressive and now you are calling aggressive play calls. There's a big difference here. I think that having like your separation of powers in in our government, you kind of have that same separation with the coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. You can kind of look at that as the 3 branches. Your head coach is the one that's going to want things done a certain way. And then you have the offensive and defensive coordinator that are going to have to do what they want or what they're asked to do, but do it within the scheme. And that is the most important, I think, piece to take away from that is they just have to do it within the scheme. So they can call whatever they want to call. Dan Campbell trusts them to call whatever they need to call. And as long as they do it within the scheme, he's not going to be mad. He's going to trust that that was the right play call. Where that all changes is when you have no separation of power anymore. Dan Campbell is both the executive branch and now he's the judicial branch calling the offense. He's both. It doesn't work that way. And it only works that way if you've been doing it for a while and you can kind of tame your aggression. Right now, I think he's playing from, he's got a 3 of a kind in his hand and he's going all in, even though he knows he probably shouldn't. And he probably shouldn't last game. Should have taken the points, but he didn't. Should have flopped a couple more times, but he didn't. He has to do that. He absolutely has to do that going forward, especially when we get into these games that really matter. You know, when you look at the schedule and you look at your opponents and you look at your division and you say, what teams did they beat? Okay, well, if they beat this team and we're playing that team next, we have to be more calculated. We can't be overly aggressive. And to your point, get back to doing what Lions do and do what they do best, right?
And listen, I wholeheartedly believe if Dan Campbell can just get this aggressiveness under control. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I hate it. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. And I hate it when we die by the sword. I really hate it because when we were in the NFC Championship game, I thought that was going to teach Dan Campbell the hot stove lesson. When you're a kid and you see that hot coil on the burner on the stove and it looks really inviting and you touch it and you learn your lesson, you don't touch that anymore. I thought Dan Campbell was going to learn his lesson to be a little less aggressive on 4th down, kick the field goal, trust your kicker, and go to the Super Bowl. I don't care how you get there, just get there. Same thing with this Philadelphia Eagles game. I think if he was just a little bit less aggressive, if he took his ego out of it and kicked 3 field goals, they win that game. So
they
I
definitely have a chance to, that's for sure.
You know, I think we have more of a chance, and I think it changes the what do you call it? Not the outlook, but the feel of the game. Mm-hmm. You know, when the Lions are up by 4 instead of being down by 3, it makes a huge difference. You know, the Lions, did they ever have the lead in that game?
Oh, hell, I don't think so. No.
Wasn't it 6-3? I think we had the lead for like 2 seconds. Or was it? No, it was tied up 6-6. That's what it was.
I don't even know if it was tied up. They went up 3-0.
Yeah, and then they kicked another field goal.
Yeah,
and it was 6-6. Yeah, because we didn't get the extra point on the JMO botched penalty. And he did not know that was a penalty. He had no clue.
Dan Campbell ripped him a new one when he walked off the field.
Yeah,
So
good.
I did notice that.
Yeah.
So
good.
it was 3-0 in the first.
Yeah.
We scored 6 in the second. It was 10. They scored 10 in the second. I don't know if we ever. Yeah, we did have 6-6 when we had the touchdown.
Yeah.
And then they scored a touchdown right after that.
Yeah, because I thought we were going to take the lead and we never did. So that just sucks. We didn't even have the lead in that game when we could have.
I don't even know.
You know,
last time
we have to not shoot ourselves in the foot with penalties and stupid actions and going for it on 4th down when we can take points. We're at the 2 friggin' yard line. Just kick the field goal. I don't care if we're at the 2, the 4, the 3, the 1. I don't care. Sometimes you just have to put your ego aside and you have to take the points. If you go back and look at Bill Belichick, how many Super Bowls did he win? How many field goals did he kick when he was in positions that Dan Campbell would have went for it?
It's a good point,
You know,
and I don't know the answer, but it's a good point.
And I'm not saying Dan don't go for it all the time on fourth down. I'm just saying learn to rein it in a little bit. You've touched the hot stove enough times. Aren't you tired of those blisters on your fingers?
It's like that one video. It's hot, and the girl goes to pick it up underneath. It's hot, and she goes to pick it up again underneath. It's hot, and she starts screaming at her, and she still tries to pick it up. It's hot, she's cussing at her. Like, Dan, it's hot, dude. It's hot, right? And what's not hot is you right now, because
put down the hot plate.
Jeez, all right, let me get into a couple more things here.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What do the Giants do? What do we do? Well, they do have this guy by the name of Tyrone Tracy, and they're going to lean on him, and they're going to lean on him big time, even though they have Devin Singletary too, I think. Establishing the run game is critical, obviously, to keep the Detroit Lions pass rush honest. That's going to be tough to do. There really hasn't been a team this year that has exposed us. And even though we've had a couple of bad games, collectively, an offense may have put up more than 100 yards on us on the ground, but the Lions have done a really good job this year, navigating all of the treacherous waters that they've been through with injuries. They've done a really good job at maintaining the identity. And our first identity on the defense is stop the run. It has always been the identity. It's been that way since 2021. The Giants are going to utilize a quick passing game. You want to try to neutralize the Lions' pressure with the slants, the screens to Wan'Dale Robinson, and Theo Johnson, I believe, is playing, right? Remember, Theo Johnson was my number one tight end that I wanted the Lions to grab. Had we had Theo Johnson right now, we'd be in good shape. Protect the quarterback. Obviously, the Giants need to do that when you have players like Aiden Hutchinson and Elkadim Muhammad and Jack and everybody else, Tyleik Williams. They're going to be coming for you this weekend. I think our defensive line is getting better and better and better. Aleem McNeil was inserted into this our defensive line, 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
However, many games ago, our defensive line has gotten better every single week. With just bringing him back, we went from a top 10 or 11 defense to a top 5. I believe that they're going to try to exploit us in the red zone. Our red zone softness has been a problem at times. A 63.6% TD rate in the red zone, ranking 25th, is terrible. The Giants must capitalize when inside the 20. Let's just not allow them to get there. Let's just keep them outside the 20. Avoid the late game collapses. The Giants have blown multiple fourth quarter leads. Clock management, conservative play calling are vital. And if they want to run Jaxson Dart around, I hope they don't, because I have this feeling that Brian Branch is going to take him out, and then he's going to be labeled a dirty player even more. You can't be running around, Jaxson. You can't. I want to see you in year 3. Jaxson Dart has the skills to pay the bills, and he has the ability to be the next Josh Allen in this league. I believe that. I think that Jaxson Dart is the second coming of Josh Allen, and probably better than Josh Allen at some point in his career. That was Giants offense versus Lions defense. Now the Giants defense versus our offense, well, they need to win at the line. Obviously, Brian Burns, I think he's leading the league right now in sacks with 13. Dexter Lawrence hasn't really popped, but again, to my point about this defensive line, they can pop at any moment. They have the players. They have a lot of players. It was one of the scariest defenses on paper that you're ever going to see. Force Detroit into third downs where we've been the weakest is what their plan has to be. Third down, 36% conversion rate, 26 in the league. We cannot afford to play the third down game. You want to avoid third down like it's the plague, which means you have to try to get more yards on first and second. Can't be doing this dink and dunk stuff all the time, but at the same time, whether it's John Morton or Dan Campbell calling plays, we can no longer have these plays that are taking 3 seconds to develop. 2.5, 2.6 seconds in this game should be the absolute limit of play development. Sometimes you're going to have more time. You'll be able to get the ball downfield. You're going to bring in extra protection. The play can go a little bit longer. I understand that. But in this game, 2.5, 2.6 That has to be the hot button out. Or Jared Goff, throw it away. Don't need to take unnecessary sacks. Stop taking the unnecessary hits, because at one point, you're going to have to scrape Goff off the floor with a pizza pallet. And I don't want to see that. He's taken some pretty rough hits this year, and some to his own fault, but this offensive line has been so damn porous, the poor guy can't move anywhere. I do want to talk about the perceived bias, too, when I get done with this. To limit the explosive plays, again, the Giants need to do this by keeping Gibbs and Williams from breaking chunk yards, big chunk plays, force the longer drives. I don't think that they're going to be able to stop us, but that's what you're going to want to do to us if you want to try to win this game. The red zone stance. Giants must flip their weakness into situational stops. Like they haven't done it all year. They're last in the red zone on defense. This is where the Lions are going to score in bunches. Once we get to the red zone, it's probably 1 or 2 plays max. We should not be having to go, 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, or 6 plays to score once we get to the 20. If we don't score in 2 plays, then we're not calling the right plays. Stop doing the dink and dunk stuff. Once you get to the red zone, I want to see guys in the damn end zone. You need to run a couple of corner post routes, a fade route, and then you need to get someone over the middle and then a little screen. If you do all those different options, there's no reason why we can't pepper the end zone and score quicker. I don't know what happened with football, but everyone tries to score from throwing the ball short and running it in. What happened to just throwing a laser to the corner? Why are we not doing that stuff anymore? What happened? It's like one of the best plays to watch. A nice fade or something, dropping it right into the bucket over the shoulder. But that's one of the weaknesses for the Giants that they're going to need to flip this weekend if they want a chance at beating the Lions. Takeaways, the Giants defense ranks very low in turnovers. They need at least 2 to swing the momentum in this game. If the Lions have 2 turnovers in this game, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Because I do believe, and I'll say just like I said in the beginning, the New York Giants defense is just like our offense. They have the players. They've done it a few times. The Lions done it a lot. And all it takes is that one game where they all roll out of bed on the right side. They have their best breakfast. They feel great. And they click. When that happens, this New York Giants defensive front is dangerous. When it happens for the Lions, we're even more dangerous. So those are your takes for the Giants against our offense. And I went through the Lions offense versus their defense. I got bold takes still yet to do, but you had a perceived bias about Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to go into that, but I know I don't have the mental capacity this morning to do the numbers, but
I just have something I want to read. Okay.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of the biased takes towards Jared Goff. He is an amazing quarterback. I don't care if he's a pocket quarterback and he's not this mobile guy that runs around. So beat reporter Corey Woods wrote something this morning, and I want to read it to all of you. I posted it on my social media, and this is how it goes. Jared Goff on Sunday versus the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champions, passed for 255 yards, a 37% completion rate, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, sacked twice, and a passer rating of 60.1. Okay. Josh Allen last night versus the Texans, 253 passing yards, 71% completion rate, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, sacked 8 times for an NFL record 70 yards, and a 67.1 passer rating. One QB, Goff, is knocked for being a pocket passer. The other, Allen, is regarded as one of the best mobile quarterbacks and is the reigning MVP. It doesn't matter if you're a pocket passer or a mobile quarterback. If your offensive line does not do their job, it's going to be a tough day at the office. And listen, that's what it boils down to. if you don't have help, all these people that say Jared Goff has to have a perfect pocket every time, and he can't be under pressure, otherwise he doesn't win, and he can't throw the ball. Well, I say BS to all of that. I think that Goff, given enough help, is one of the most amazing quarterbacks in the NFL, and he's a pure pocket passer.
Well, he is a pure pocket passer, but to your point, Eric, I mean, the numbers speak to itself.
Yes. Even the most mobile MVP quarterback can have the exact same kind of a game as Jared Goff. Those two games are like dead nuts even.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is the numbers speak to itself, where Jared Goff has been one of the best, as a matter of fact, the best quarterback against the blitz. The only difference is when it actually turns into pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And this is such a lazy take by people, or a lazy argument, when they say, oh, he needs this perfect offensive line to win, or to play well, or whatever, right? Every quarterback in the league needs that same offensive line. The difference is offenses are run differently. So for those of you that do not study the game and you're a casual fan, like all of us on Sundays, some of us study a little bit more than others. Some know a hell of a lot more than me. And that's just the reality of the game. What these quarterbacks do, what these offenses do, are all different. They have different set of skills. They have a different set of plays, different timing, different routes. Everything is different on almost every team. So you can't look at one offense and compare it to the next unless you have the same offensive coordinator, the same scheme, same everything, and then say, well, this guy can do it, but this guy can't because their offensive line's better. He does it better, but he needs a better offensive line to win. Jared Goff is in a system that is designed this way. And I'm sorry, if you don't want the best offensive line or the best defensive line, then what are you even playing the game for? You want to have the best guys you can possibly have at every position. It's just extremely difficult to be able to fit 44 guys onto a roster, paying them all top tier money and keeping them under a cap. It can't happen. It's not possible unless these guys want to say, you know what, I'll play for $1. Well, they have to play for the league minimum, and then you could do it. You absolutely could, but no one's going to do that. Their time in the NFL is limited. They only have so much time to make money. The average time in the league is 2.5 years. That's not enough time to retire. Your body's broken down forever. So where I'm going to roll with this is I don't care what quarterback you are. You need the best offensive line to do your job. Why? Because without a good offensive line, I'm going to say this, Jahmyr Gibbs sucks. Okay, he sucks because he needs the best offensive line to run the football. What kind of take would that be? That's the same take that you're throwing at Jared Goff. The Jared Goff sucks because he needs the best offensive line to play the game. The same could be said about Demo. The same could be said about Saquon Barkley. The same could be said about Barry Sanders. The same could be said about, well, maybe not Barry. He's different. He's way different.
Yeah.
But you get where I'm going with this, right? It's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. Tom Brady ran 29 yards. I know I keep saying this every year a few times. 29 yards a season.
Yeah.
29. Yeah. That's less than 1.8 yards per game that he ran per game. So he wasn't mobile. He's got 7 Super Bowls because he played behind an extremely good offensive line. He didn't even have the best wide receivers. But what he did have was an offensive line that could give him protection. And when he had enough protection, eventually, I don't care who you are, that receiver is going to end up winning that route at some point. And when that route is won, the quarterback's going to find you. So you can only hold on to a wide receiver that's running sub 4.4 speed for so long. Eventually, you're going to lose. You're going backwards. They're going forwards. You're going to lose eventually. And that could be a quarter-second difference in time. Jared Goff is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I would pick them over and over and over and over and over again. Tell me 5 names that you'd rather have in front of Jared Goff right now that cost less, that have accomplished what he has accomplished, and have the relationships that he has with his team. I don't think you can find them. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, people forget that this is a team sport, not an individual sport. You have to have 11 guys on the same page on every play. Yeah. You cannot do it all by yourself. I hate the narrative that, oh, Goff sucks because he can't put the team on his back and win it despite his team. Just because there's 1 or 2 quarterbacks that do that once in a super great while, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, or Josh Allen, I call BS to that narrative also. You know, it takes the team. It's not just them doing it all by themselves, unless the only thing they're doing is getting the ball and running for 200 yards all by themselves, despite their offensive line not blocking. It just doesn't happen. It's a team game. It is not an individual game. Yes, I know there's lots of individual awards, defensive player of the year, comeback player of the year, coach of the year, all this stuff, but it's a team game. It is not an individual game. Yes, you need individuals to play the game, but they have to work as a unit. You could have the absolute best player in the NFL and your team sucks. Just ask the Browns and Myles Garrett. Ask Max Crosby and the Raiders how they doing. You know, but yeah,
I was just asking, like Derek Lewis. I think he was saying, someone was saying in there that the ads are like crazy. I'm gonna share this with you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because the ads are at every 18 minutes today. They're normally at every 6 minutes, but I made sure that we just dialed it way back from the beginning of the show because we were starting so late.
Oh, me and him were talking about how it's so worth it to get YouTube Premium.
Yeah,
you
now
don't have ads
that's
anymore.
what I'm sharing with you guys right now. So I'm gonna put this at the very top of the page. It'll be pinned. That's the link to YouTube Premium. No, I don't get paid for any of that. I wish I could because I would promote it like crazy.
Yeah, if they had an affiliate link, that'd be awesome.
And maybe they do. I don't look for that stuff. But you could share your YouTube and YouTube Premium with your 6 closest friends for $23 a month. So that is how you can get YouTube Premium for under $4 a month. If you just get 5 people to go in on it with you, or even 2 or 3 people, it's still cheaper. You know, team up with a few people. You can use your app pays, your Cash App plays, and you all just go in for a full season, a full year at a time. And hey, you pay me, or we all put it in a pot and then we pay it for the whole year or whatever. I don't even know if you can pay it for the whole year if it just comes out monthly. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is just get a few people together. You talk with people in here every day, get your 6 closest friends and do it. And then you don't have to worry about it.
Did you see what Derek put?
No. Let me say.
He put Eric and Major shamed me into it. Rockhound
just go find some people to get in there with you. Cause I'm an idiot because like Megan and I pay for it separately. How dumb is that?
Oh, really?
We're paying $26, $27 a month when we could have it for 23 and add more people to it. Maybe I'll try to figure that out. Maybe I'll just get our accounts blended. I don't think we can blend them because mine's totally, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Anyway, all right, we're coming up against it, dude. Let's get into these 5 bold takes of the day.
Oh, sure.
I'm finally starting to wake up a little bit. I felt like, by the way, guys, I'm not doing well. Just so you all know what's really going on, why I've been late a lot more to the show. I'm not doing well medically. And I had doctors calling me this morning. And so that put us even more behind. I'm trying to get it figured out, but it seems like they're failing me already. And I got some appointments next week. We'll see how it goes. Supposed to be at the game this Sunday, but I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't feel good. So each and every day that I do this, it's really hard to do it. But I love to do it. And some days I'm just going to be late for now. And when I'm feeling better, then you'll know. There's some days I'm great. Like right now, I just got a burst of energy. I'm feeling good, but that'll disappear as quickly as it came, and they need to get it figured out quickly because it's can't function like that. It's hard to function like that. But all right, so 5 bold takes. I think I put mine on the sheet this morning.
You did?
I think so.
I didn't see. Oh, there's Will's. Yeah, there we go. I like it.
Oh. Okay, 5 bold takes. You know what? I don't think I have the. Hold on here. Let me get that thing. Go. Give us 2 seconds. We'll be right back with 5 bold takes.
Yeah.
On my phone was Peyton Manning. He said, Jeff, I feel your pain. Will you join me in exorcising the curse of Bobby Lane? Just like that, we started winning. Just like that, we were playoff bound. Just like that, way up in heaven, Bobby Lane turned around. Say goodbye to all that sorrow. Say goodbye to all that pain. Say goodbye to the same old lion and the curse of Bobby Lane. Everybody say goodbye. Say goodbye to all that pain. Say goodbye to the same old life and the curse of Bobby Lane.
Man, as quickly as it disappears, it can come right back. And look, Jeff Daniels said it best, man. Just like that, he started winning. So up next, 5 bold takes. Eric's got a lot on his mind today. We're going to find out what it is. Start with number 1.
All right. Number 1, the Lions will revert back to smash mouth run game. And the duo of Sonic and Knuckles together will have over 200 yards rushing.
You know what? I was gonna put this into a segment, so let's restart this because
all right.
I want to put you solo. All right. So
all right.
Here we go. Eric's 5 bold takes.
Yes. Number 1, the Detroit Lions will revert back to smash mouth running game, and the duo of Sonic and Knuckles, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, will together have over 200 yards rushing against the New York Giants. I'm loving it. Number 2, J-Mo will score a touchdown for the 3rd game in a row for Mr. Jameson Williams. Number 3, and this is a really bold one. Are you guys ready for this? Jack Fox will have a very busy day on Sunday as the placeholder, but not as the punter, and will not punt for the 2nd time this year. And number 4, we've all been waiting for this one. Aiden Hutchinson. He will have his breakout game for the 2025 season. And he will have multiple sacks with at least 1 quick sack and a turnover and at least 8 pressures on the day. So Aiden Hutchinson's going to have his breakout game for 2025. Here it comes. And last but not least, number 5, Jared Goff will break his record for the most rushing yards he's ever had in a game with multiple designed runs for Mr. Jared Goff and a bonus pick. Jared Goff scores a rushing touchdown. How about that?
Oh, that's the wrong one. All right, interesting. Do me a favor, just check your audio for me, because it sounded like you're really, really hot.
I probably got loud talking.
All
I
right,
got energetic on that one.
I'm gonna do my 5 bold takes too. They're a little bit different. I think they're a lot different. I mean, we got a couple of things that are close. So here we go. All right, so I've got 5 bold takes here for the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants game this Sunday at Ford Field. I'm going to start with number 1, much like Eric put out there talking about our run game. Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to break 150 total yards, but it's not just on the ground. It's going to be all purpose. That bottom tier run defense by the Giants is going to have their hands full. I have absolutely no respect for them. I do believe that they have a good defensive front, but Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get the better of the New York Giants on Sunday. Number 2, Jameson Williams. Last week, he gets scolded. This week, he gets a little emboldened. He's going to score on a 50-yard bomb, exploiting the New York secondary lapses. They are missing quite a few players on that defense, and I do believe that Jared Goff is going to at least target 1 or 2 deep shots to Jameson this weekend. Jameson Williams, 50-plus on 1 touchdown. Number 3, Jared Goff is going to have his best game or cleanest game of the season. 3 TDs, 0 turnovers, 0 sacks, and the Lions are absolutely going to roll in this game against the New York Giants. Number 4, Detroit's offensive line allows 0 sacks, kind of going with number 3, neutralizing Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. They come alive, man. They've heard it. They've heard the fans. They've heard the media. They've heard everybody. The offensive line is going to come alive this weekend and have their best game. And last but not least, a player that has been missing in action. Some are saying it's Jared's fault, and some are saying it's Jared's fault. But it's not. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to post 9+ catches this weekend, becoming the focal point on key third down plays and conversions. One of the Lions' Achilles heels this week, or this season, has been the third down conversions and efficiency. And Amon-Ra St. Brown himself is going to fix that this weekend. Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown going to find each other 9+ times, and Amon-Ra St. Brown will get into the end zone for at least 1 score against the Giants. So that's my 5 bold takes for Lions in Giants. Okay, Trace, I just got your message. But with everything going on, I did have everything lined up this morning, but I don't have it in the scene today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just record a video quickly before I head out, because as soon as I'm done with this, I got to go. I've got to get to the doctor. So I'll record a video at some point and get it out there today. We have to do the drawing. I just have to get it set back up and just go to the video. If you guys were part of watching and commenting before the 10,000 hit, when we got 10,000 subscribers, I promised to give away 2 tickets to a game this year, and it's going to be the Cowboys game, right? I think that's what I said last night, the Cowboys game. And
that's some good tickets.
Yeah,
those are
there's not a ticket left in the house that's under $500.
Yeah.
Even standing room is $300. But I wasn't going to give somebody standing room only. So I will do a video today and post it. And that way you have it. And it's there. That's all it's going to be. It's probably going to be a 2-minute video. Maybe a little longer, but probably 2 minutes. It'll be a quick one. So that's that. I got to skate, though. Anything else you want to add? You want to final 30 it up?
Sure. So my final 30 of the day is this. If you look at the point differential between the Detroit Lions and the New York Giants, it is staggering. So the Lions have a plus 76 point differential. They have scored 76 more points than their opponents through 10 games. On the other side of the coin, the Giants, the New York Giants, are negative 63. So that's 139 point differential difference between these two teams. So that brings me to my prediction for today. And my prediction, after looking at the point differential and the turnover differential, the Lions are +5, the Giants are -6. You look at every category, the Lions are going to win this game. All right. They're 10.5-point favorites. The over under is 50.5 points. Vegas knows the Lions are going to dominate. 42 for the Detroit Lions, 17 for the New York Giants. And that puts it over 50.5 points for the weekend. I think the Detroit Lions win 42-17.
No 50 burgers this weekend?
Well, that's I'm not putting that out there because every time I say we're going to put up a 50 burger, we put up 17. So this time I'm going to say it's 42. We'll see if we go over. I hope that my Detroit Lions overproduce and not underproduce for me this weekend.
So if we put up 17 every time you say 50 and now you say 42, does that mean we're only going to put up 25?
I don't know, even that would be fine with me. 25-17, as long as we only let them score 17. I want to keep that number under 21 points for our defense. If we can do that, that'll bring our average down. That'll move us up we go in that total defense.
Quick recap on the defense. So look, our Lions have been scraping and scratching and clawing and biting and, doing everything they can to help this team win. Defense has done an excellent job. Look, the Lions offense is hanging in there. It's still one of the top offenses in the league. But the Lions defense right now, top 5, number 5 at 291.8 yards allowed. Passing, we're 8th. Rushing defense, we're 8th. Scoring defense, we're 10th, allowing 21.6 points per game. I wish I could have bet all these things that I guaranteed at the beginning of the season because I think it's all about to hit. Red zone. This is where we need the most work. Red zone is 25th in the league at 63.6%. That is the one area that we could get a lot better. Third down defense, we're great, man. Third in the league, 34.4% efficiency allowed on the other side. Sacks, we're 6th. We were just 2nd a week ago. A week changes by a couple of sacks, right? We didn't really get a whole bunch going against Jalen Hurts. Not that we needed to. It was contained, style of a defense. Fumbles were 8th with 9 on the season, and interceptions were at 12th with 8 on the season. Some of that stuff's going to change, man. As soon as we get some of these guys back, DJ Reed, Kirby Joseph, and Terry and Arnold, when we get them all back, some of that stuff will change. Offensive rankings, the Lions are at 9th in passing, 7th in rushing, 4th in scoring, 5th in red zone, 26th, though, on third down. This is, again, one of our areas of immediate need. And 4th down, where we were like 1st or 2nd or 3rd the last few seasons, we're middle of the pack. That is not the Lions' identity. So there's 2 things that we really need to focus on, and that is criticals. And the critical thirds and the critical 4th down conversions. And I think the Lions are going to do all of that this weekend. We are going up against a really, really tough defensive front that can click at any moment. But I'm expecting the Lions to rise above. If I had to give a score prediction right now, and when my keys to the game and all that stuff comes out, it'll probably be out tomorrow. It'll probably change a little bit based on what happens with our injury report today. But right now, I would say that there's no reason why the Lions couldn't put up. You had 42-17, right? 42-17.
Yes.
I don't think that there's any reason why the Lions can't put up at least 35 in this game. I know it's an awkward number, but I will say there's going to be 5 touchdowns. May not need a field goal in this game at all. But if I understand Dan Campbell, I think that Dan Campbell, if he has to, is going to take a field goal first in this game. If we don't, we might move the ball down the field. And if we don't score a touchdown, he might take the points because he heard it. So for that reason, I'm going to go 38-12. I'm going to give the Giants 12 points. I think they're going to get multiple field goals in this game. And the 38, that's 5 touchdowns and a field goal. That's what that is. So I think there's going to be a lot of scoring this weekend. You're going to have one guy that's going to get at least 2 touchdowns in this game. But I think that ball's going to get spread out. I think the offensive line's going to play great. And we have to. This game could easily flip and go the other way in a hurry. And that would be my second take. if this offensive line collapses this weekend, it's going to be a long day at the office. And if that happens, I think that then the score would be closer to a 20, like a 24-21, but Lions still got it out. So those are my two takes. If the Giants defense flips a switch, it's going to be a much tighter game, 24-21. If the Lions can operate at a high level and the offensive line stays together, we don't suffer a bunch of injuries in this game, God forbid, 38-12, I think they can easily do that. So those are our takes today. Appreciate all you guys being in with us this morning. I promise I'll get that video out shortly. I'll get this wheel spin, and we'll get those tickets, given away. If you hear your name, if you tune into the video and you hear your name, just email me at mailbag@rockdown.com. Otherwise, I have the majority of everyone's information, and we'll be able to reach out to them that way. So you guys have a wonderful day. Eric, any final thought?
Wow, what was I going to say? I had something when you were talking.
It was probably a lie. That's what my grandpa would say.
I lost it.
It was probably
No. Just, man, this weekend, we can really flip the script. Okay, we can knock the Giants out of playoff contention. They could be the first team to be knocked out of the playoffs, be eliminated. You know how they put that little list with everybody that's eliminated from the playoffs every year? This could be the first team eliminated from the playoffs. All we need to do is we need to beat them, and then either the Seahawks, the Minnesota Vikings, or one other team, I can't remember who it is, needs to win, or the Steelers, I think. If one of those three teams win and the Detroit Lions win, they eliminate them from the playoffs, and they're the first team. And right now they're looking at the number 2 overall pick at 2-9, because the Titans are at 1-9. The Giants have not had their bye week yet. So they could be the very first team eliminated from playoff contention, and it'd be pretty awesome.
Big shout out to Gina, $20 super chat. I really appreciate the message too, Gina. It means a lot. Obviously, I'm going through a ton right now, but says F cancer, you got this, Will. Feed off those who love you, and we all love you. Well, the feeling's mutual, like I said. I really appreciate the message. I love you all as well. Look, I'm not doing this without you. This channel only exists for you. It's a fan channel for the fans, and we try to be, truthful, honest, and transparent about how we feel, what we see, and what's going on with your team, the Detroit Lions. So have a wonderful day on your Friday here. Probably go Detroit Lions. We'll see you guys in the next one, which will be not too far away. All right, take care. Bye-bye.
Adam Schefter at ESPN says there's 270. Adam Schefter at ESPN
that was some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 some party in downtown Detroit. 775,000 people shattering the NFL draft attendance record.